fellas, I get asked often, can you hot shot with a gas-powered motor? I figured I'll take the opportunity and show you this, right? Sure you can. You could haul that with a half-ton. Anyways, I'm gonna try to keep this video to the point as possible. I've made several attempts. Look what I'm using to haul, right? I've made several attempts, and I'm gonna make another one. I know. Well, I need to put you guys in pause. I need to do a couple things. I know a lot of fellas are in the process of transitioning, right? The market change is so dramatic or drastic and whatnot. So a lot of the guys have been asking, hey, can I use this truck? Can I use that truck, right? I'm gonna try to keep it as to the point as possible, but it's kind of hard because there's a lot of things to consider. Like there's a million ways to skin a cat. So there's a lot of times it's not just one tool to get the job done. So bear with me here. First things first, what are you hauling, right? I just mentioned, I showed you. I was kind of looking in my mirrors. I'm like, I'll pull over and show the guys that sometimes it's a whole lot of nothing. You know, it's like 300 pounds behind your truck. Other times it's like 13,000 pounds, right? I like the equipment. I like steel. That's what I haul a lot. Well, not me. My company hauls a lot of it, but I do get involved, boots on, running, you know, keeping that thing lean and mean. You know, by me having my boots on and doing a lot of these jobs, it creates quite the impact on the efficiency and the numbers in the company, right? Just a guy to just drop a load, pick up a load, prepare a load or two like this one. Right, this is a hot load. My guy's about an hour out of town, so I'll prepare it for him. He'll come drop this trailer, grab this one, and adios amigos, right? So this load, right, it's 300 pounds. Half ton can haul it. Sure, you can get a half ton, you can do some jobs, but how much are you limiting yourself? First question, what are you hauling? Dimensions of it, right? It's not only weight, it's the dimensions. You could take a 10,000 pound aerodynamic plate of steel and it ain't no big deal. Or you can take a 5,000 pound 20-foot container and it's quite the drag. You're tracking here? So that's very important. What you're hauling, where you're hauling it to. Now around town, quite frankly, it don't matter. Your gas powered motor, 99% will take care of most of you guys. Those 7.3 gas powered Fords, the 6 Ford Hemis, or excuse me, 6 Ford Hemi Rams, the 6.6 Chevys, those motors are plenty. We'll talk about those motors in another video because this video is going to be an hour long if I get into all the details, right? Like this channel's about my experience, so that's why I'm here sharing it. If you don't like it, shut her down. I would seriously consider a gas-powered motor if my range of freight, if my range of use was, you know, always in town, rarely ever on the interstate, and always aerodynamic. You know, hauling equipment, some of those things are quite the brick wall. You know, you put a backhoe on there. Do you think I'm hauling 300 pounds with that thing? Sometimes I hook up the 40-footer and a 16,000 pound backhoe on it. Boy, I'd be pulling his guts out, right? Well, not really. This thing's quite the beast. Sucking the tank dry is what this thing will do. Man, that fuel gauge moves when I load it up. Anyways, you know, you and your gas-powered motor, you'll do it once, you do it twice, but it's painful. You're wrapping out that engine. It's hectic. Me, I'm just chilling. You know, anything under 2,000, I haul it through everything, right? Slow and steady, not pushing the equipment, but I'm still maintaining 60 to 68 miles an hour. You know, now 68. I kind of tuned it down to 65 rest of the trip, but I'm being real with you. I'm telling you what my experience is, right? So, hauling these all day, yeah. You know, it's better to have more truck than you need, because we're about to talk about the backside of it, the long term of it, right? A lot of you guys don't realize what the actual expense is, right? So if you're going to talk gas or diesel, why would one contemplate expense, cost, right? To get into a gas, it's cheaper, but it might be cheaper in the long run as well. So it's a double win-win. Or if you do it wrong, right? You buy a F350, you gear it out, you put that engine, and you're hauling backhoes day in and day out, or whatever you're hauling. Yeah, you're gonna wear out that thing a lot quicker than me with the 5.0, or excuse me, me with the HO that's 500 horse, 1200 torque, and not pushing mine. You know, you don't have the choice of not pushing. You got to push your gas power to drop all the gears it could drop and just wrap out that engine, because that's how it performs, right? Without getting into the nitty gritty. If your vehicle could run consistently, that's all you need. There's no reason to run this 1200 torque motor to haul that 300-pound load. But I have 1200 torque because my range is so wide. I'm in the Pacific Northwest. I got mountains any way you look. Mountains, 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 right? About a couple hours that way, a bunch of mountains. You know, probably about 2 hours that way, right? You got the gorge and off you go into the Cascade Mountains. That way, I'm not even half an hour out. I'm already in the mountains. Like, you just can't go far and you're in the mountains. And guess what? It is not about the power going up the hill. It's all about going down the hill. Truckers know it, man. You can take your time crawling up that hill, but coming down your hill, man, you overheat them brakes, you are a dead man. And that's not a lie. I'm sick and tired of these wannabe truckers out there putting other people at risk, man. It just scares me. I'm a father of 4 kids. If you clown don't understand, yes, you clown don't understand why your brakes are just on fire going down that hill, stay out of that truck. You will kill somebody. So I can't stress it enough. If you have passes around you, you got long grades coming down hills, your brakes aren't going to hold you back for very long. Now, if you understand what you're dealing with and you got a gas-powered motor and you drop all the gears you can, I'm not talking first gear, I'm talking like second, third gear, you know, maintaining 25 miles an hour in the right lane with the semis, that's okay. You got common sense. I'll forgive you for running gas. All jokes aside. But I'm serious, guys. It's so serious. It's life and death. A lot of people don't understand that. Around town, especially this truck, this thing's a joke. Look what it's doing. Like 16%. I could hear stuff. I could barely feel anything. If this was a Cummins at 16%, we'd be braking, right? We'd be coming to a stop, fellas. Nope, not with this Ford. So, but another thing is, the Ford has their ingenuity, right? They have their team. You know, the rotor isn't spinning that fast, right? 20, 30, 40 miles an hour versus 60, 70, right? 60, 70, and it's exponential. It's not linear on that speed. So how fast you heat that rotor going down that hill holding the brakes is a lot less heat around town than it is on the interstate. And that's what I was telling you. Be dead man going down that hill fully loaded with the aerodynamic load. Don't ask how I know. Oh, don't you ask how I know. Been there, done that. I was young and I've just fried. I mean, we're talking fried the bearings off of my 12 valve. That's what I did on that one. So anyways, super important. Where's the thing, guys? If you're towing anything over 10,000 pounds behind your truck, stick to a diesel. That's a good rule of thumb. Behind your truck, 10,000 pounds. What is that? This trailer is 6,000 plus 300-pound load, right? You got 6,300 pounds. You know, and that combination, whatever is attached to your trailer, load, lunchbox, whatever you want to call it, over 10,000, just stick to the diesels. Diesels do phenomenal. It's life and death. You only get one life at it. You're not a cat. You don't get 7 lives. Please don't go down the hills with barreling because your brakes are giving out. Now around town, these new vehicles, they got plenty of brakes. Around town, you got plenty of brakes. You could really crank it up. Around town, as long as your trailer, this is the difference. Around town, if you got good trailer brakes, because just like on the interstate, good trailer brakes are important, but you only have them for so long. Yeah, if you're coming down off a pass on the highway, 6, 7, 8% grades, those are extreme, but 7% grades, you could have the best trailer brakes in the world, but shortly, boy, you'd be smoking them if you're heavy enough. So you can't really stay on the brakes coming down the hill. If you drop the truck, you know, even the gas herd, if you could drop that gear and the motor holds you back most of the time, then you're fine. You know, you're on and off your brakes every 20, 30 seconds. No more, you should be just fine. But anything more than that, you're out of luck. You know, these newer vehicles, you set them in automatic, you set your speed, and it really tries hard to keep you, give or take, under that speed. You're not going to be a runaway truck. That's what I'm saying. Can't stress it enough, guys. You truckers know exactly what I'm stressing about so much and underlining. Around town, guys, gas-powered trucks just fine. why do I run diesel? Because my variety is significant. You know, as I said, I could haul a backhoe one day, and next day I'm hauling 300-pound beam, and the third day I'm holding 2 plates in my hand and I'm barreling, right? I'm busy or hightailing on the interstate because a crew's at a standstill. So I think that's the best way I could explain it. Let's go down the list again. What are you hauling? Where are you hauling? What are you hauling? So weight is less, in a lot of cases, less important than dynamics. You know, that 5,000 brick container is going to hold you back just fine versus the 5,000 aerodynamic flat plate is going to push you a little harder. So consider that. And it's about braking, not about excel. Once you got your braking figured out, then you start asking about excel. It doesn't take much brains to excel. Stopping is the biggest issue. So with that being said, what you're hauling, where you're hauling, pass, no pass, straight line, in town, out of town, meaning in town, local speed 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, or you're on the interstate barreling 60, 70, flat or hilly, and what kind of product you're hauling, aerodynamics, right? Around town, guys, 90%. Like, if I don't have to get on the interstate, yeah, I'll be driving the gassers, right? One thing people aren't realizing, let me just pull over and stay focused. One thing people aren't realizing is gassers are cheaper to get into, but they are also, in a lot of cases, cheaper in the long run. Not only do you not pay to, yes. If you're gonna keep your truck long term, let me show you under the hood. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're keeping your truck long term, you gas powered guys out there, you don't have a lot of the mess that I have going on. You don't have the injectors, you don't have the DPF, the DEF, and all that commotion. Obviously, Ford has a better after treatment than Ram, right? And all this commotion, right? Cooling, all that stuff. Not to mention all the canisters underneath. Did you guys ever look under these things? Look at that. Look at that canister. Looks like a rocket launcher, a missile launcher of some sort. Guys, if you buy a gas-powered motor and you could get away with it, guess what? You're 150, 200,000 into it and you got a strong motor, you don't have to deal with the emissions. You don't have to deal with the injectors. Oh, like this Ford, it has a CP4. I think I have a pretty good idea how to avoid the headache and all that, but it's still a CP4, guys. So what about fuel mileage? Well, let's compare. You know, a load like this, I'm gonna get about 14 miles to the gallon. 14.5, right? Keeping it at 65 all day, every day, and that's great. You gasser guys, excuse me, are probably gonna get 10. So my diesel is a little bit more expensive, your gas is a little cheaper. That's not where you guys save. Where you guys save is on the backside. My upkeep is far more expensive. Oil changes, right? Every oil change, you got fuel filters, you got DEF, DPF. Lord forbid something goes south, right? You're gonna say, well, you have warranty. Bro, you started out $10,000, or in my case, $12,000 cheaper, right? Well, you're gonna, like the gasser guys start out $10,000, $12,000 less than I do with a diesel, with you diesel, right? They already got the head start. You think you're gonna add $10,000 worth of fuel in that time frame? I doubt it. Do your math. As long as the difference isn't that great, you know, on lighter stuff, nah, you're not gonna make it. What about all the time you got to spend cooling, you know, warming up, cooling off? These turboed engines heat up a lot harder, so you got to take more time to cool them off. You don't, you'll find out the hard way why your manifold shrunk or cracked. You think that's just because poor quality? No, that's because these things are stressed out, maxed out, and then next thing you know, it's just not holding up. You got to cool off these things. So if you are going to run a truck, let's say 100,000 miles, 90% you'll never run into fuel issues, DPF issues, stuff like that, right? I'm sorry, guys. So you don't have to do that equation. For the guys that are going to run north of 150,000, you're going to run into something. Most likely you're going to run into a little glitch here and there, but after 150, you're going to start paying up for having a diesel with the emission system, right? Your jar cooler, DPF's probably going to hang out past 200, but Lord forbid you have some sensor issue going on. As I said, Ford's better, but you got to calculate that, right? You're gonna put in my face and tell me diesels get a lot better fuel mileage. Well, boy, you know how much more money they take to get that fuel mileage? I would never chase diesel versus gas over fuel mileage. Never. It's solely need and demand. Keep it minimalistic, right? If you could get away with the gasser safely and you could get it done, you'll be far better. You know, there's hobbyists out there in diesel. I get that. That's a different conversation. But I'm talking to those guys that are just trying to make a living with their pickups. You're out there making a living. Who gives a flying fly if you're running diesel or gas? Do you get the job done safely, yes or no? Can you provide the services that you need to provide with that pickup, right? In my case, because I'm so, because in a percentage spectrum, right, from nothing to 16,000 just to load, plus you add 9,000 pound trailer on that 60,000, adds up pretty quick. The old gas powered motor is not going to keep sane for very long. Yes, it'll get the job done. Yes, it'll pull it. It'll go through fuel, but your experience is going to be so dramatic. It's just going to be ripping itself a new one going through the pass, where this thing keeps its cool and just definitely chucks fuel, but that's about it. Anyways, guys, I think those are the keys that I wanted to underline. It's not all gravy. It's not all easy on the surface. A lot of people that don't have experience with towing really overlook the braking side of things. The engine brake is a lifesaver, and truckers know that. As far as mileage, just really fuel mileage, it really depends how you use your truck and what you use your truck with. Like mine hangs out around 12 to 13. Well, if you look at the time, that's quite a bit of time. So mine hangs out around 13. I idle it here and there, but majority of the time this thing is on the road. I think vehicle maintenance shows you hours. Maybe gauges. I want to show you how many hours I'm running this thing. Well, I don't know if this thing is idle 30% of the time or what it's idle. It should be this. That's status information. Oh, there you go. So 681 hours, and idle time is, let's round them both up, 700 and 200. So it's less than 30%, but it's more than 20. It's like 25%. I think that's pretty close, 25%. You guys got a calculator, do the math. 681 and 179. So it doesn't idle that much. Anyways, fellas, as always, may the Lord bless you. May you all mighty fine day, and please stay safe out there.